To FishEZ. This is a live stream on a Sunday night. We are taking a look right here at Daphnia. But this isn't your normal Daphnia. This is one I've been working with for the past number of months. And interestingly enough, this Daphnia does provide a lot of well, shall we say, fish food for small fish, because the Daphnia, which is what this is a smaller version of the Magna Daphnia. Hi, Craig Catfish. Welcome to our live stream. This is a batch that I just put together recently, in the sense that I started this only a few days ago. I'm going to have to start marking down the dates each time I start it, because I like to know cyclic in the whole cycle of things, how often I can harvest these Daphnia. But you can see, for some reason, the green water in this particular jar is, I used to have just the one colony here, but then last time I split them up, so I'll have two colonies. And this is a colony of Daphnia that is doing quite well in this jar. In fact, there's so much in here, I've got to do something to reduce the amount. I don't know how I don't know how far I can go before the water turns clear, and when it turns clear, then usually they crash. But at that time, when it's clear, there's so many Daphnia in this jar. It's actually a large vase, but it's considered like a jar, and it probably holds about, let's see, 2 liters, 4 liters, 5 liters. So it might be about a gallon size. And I hold I put in 2-liter bottles of green water into this, and I add just a little bit of Daphnia, and lo and behold, this is what you get after a few days. It is just amazing. Now, they're congregating at the bottom. They tend to congregate away. I'm going to take a flashlight. I have a flashlight over here. Let me back up and grab the flashlight. Should keep it handy, just so you can see. Oh, look at that. They don't like light like the other. They do tend to go towards the light, but sometimes it usually spooks them. Funny how that works. They're not as much light drawn as the regular Daphnia. But when they're all in a ball like this in the corner down below, I'll take something and pull them out and get some right there. We're gonna look at that in just a minute. I have some fish that I like to feed the Daphnia to. For example, in this aquarium right next to them, there are a few growing out small luminatus, blue-eyed rainbow fish, and I can throw in a net full, and that will stuff them and keep them going. Let's do that now. Let's see. I usually take a small Daphnia net. This is the one with this very minimal holes in it, so it's like so small and I keep it covered for the purpose of preventing lots of water from escaping, humidity, blah blah blah. I'm just going to, I'll just take some out. We're going to just try to get some. I only need a little bit, so that's quite a bit, actually. Let me see what I got here. You won't see it as much. They're very small, but I'm going to go ahead and put them into this tank here. See if we can see them going in. There you go. See, yeah, they are going in, and the fish are chasing them. Yeah, so that's a great live food, and I like it because I can, there we go, just go ahead and get them out of the net. Make sure they're good and out of the net. And there we go. And now I've just fed these fish for even a day or so using just a net of Daphnia. There's only 4 little luminatus in here. I mostly have this tank for growing out some plants These are a very nice plant. They sort of look like this in a tank. As you can see, I have a couple of varieties. It looks like this is the one that kind of stays more low on the low side. This is kind of growing up. And I also have some miniature val. I don't know what the correct terminology. I'm not a real plant guy. And I wish I could do it. It's Vallisneria, but it's not jungle val. It's something else. This only grows, as you can see, this has been in here a long time in this pot, and it has only grown up, well, looks like a good, I don't know, 8 inches or so. Maybe 8 or 9 inches. And it does very well in this tank. However, in fact, some of the plants do very well. Others are, I see there's a blackbeard algae issue that's developing on this bobitis, and also it's starting to spread, and I do see green spot algae I have to work with. Those are the nemesis of our aquariums, and I'm always constantly trying to get those out. Algae and the like. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight on this live stream. And what we're going to do is take a look at some of the issues that I have, and the issue and what I might do to counteract the issue. We're going to, first of all, notice that a few hours ago, I did some checking on the Synodontis lucipennis, and I was able to pull out a group of fish, shall we say fry. There's a small group. These fish have been spawning. There's their trap right there, and that's what I use. And they have been spawning regularly. Every couple days, I can pull the trap out, and I get a few fry. Now I just removed all the bad eggs, but let me show you what's in here. So we got one, two, three, four. Well, there's several there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say there's less than 10. But in the last few months, I have been unable to keep them alive. For some reason, the fry that are in these that come out of the trap don't seem to thrive like they were in the past. So something's wrong. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check. I do want to check the pH. I use this meter here. It's a Milwaukee 802, and we'll turn it on, let it settle. It starts off by jumping to 7.1. I have the meter in here, but honestly, after it sits there for a few minutes, it does drop down. It does drop and gives me a true reading. Right now it's just giving me a quick reading, and it will go down to 6.8 to 6.9, so it will drop a few points. That is a little low. Now, I used to have tap water that came out at 7.6, and for some reason the tap water that we're getting seems to be lower, and this summer I think this is part of the reason. So in order to try to boost the pH, I did throw in coral, and that coral is in the filter, so it's filtering away. You can see there's a layer of coral. I don't know if you can bear it. It's not focusing very well, but that's what it is white coral. And even having that in there for a few weeks hasn't seemed to help get that going. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I also tried something like, I thought maybe it was temperature. Maybe the room isn't as warm as it used to be, like we used to have that. So I set up this tray system so I could put a heater in here. And all I did was throw a 78 heater, and the water, it would keep this, just at least keep it 78. But I'm not sure. I'm just unclear as to what the 78 is ideal or not. Maybe 80 might be better. I might have to change out this heater for one that's adjustable, and try it out. I did notice, folks, that there was a new product out there, and it's by Higer, and I saw it advertised. Basically, it is a heater, but it looks like a heater controller, temperature controller combined. So it has a controller that sits on the outside of the tank, and then it just has an element that goes on the inside of the tank. So right now with our discus tanks, we use controllers, and we're trying to regulate, or shall we say, prevent a catastrophic event by taking a heater and controlling it so that if it ever should go malfunction, at least the controller would be able to fix the problem. And that way you have two devices. So I thought about it. I said, oh, that might be something nice to try. Higer has a product that kind of combines the two into one, but you're paying as much for this heater setup as you would for just a plain controller. So it's cheaper because you get a heater with it, right? An element. But then I started thinking about it, and I wondered if there is some issue with, now you're still dealing with a single item that could fault, or should we say you could have a problem with the entire item, and maybe something will happen, even though it says in the instructions or in the advertisement, in the specifications, that this heater has a fail-safe off. So the fail-safe off means that if the temperature gets too high, it will always cut out the heater rather than, allow the heater to continue. Well, fail-safe off, I'm not sure if that is what I want to rest, or shall we say put on my tank in order to safely keep it at a certain temperature. Would it work? I don't know. But it does sound like it might work. It might be okay. If I were to try it, I would try it first of all on a tank that doesn't have expensive fish like discus. I would try something else first and see if I really like the product. Hi everyone, and it looks like North Aquatics is on board. It's so glad to see you, James. And we also have Ryan's Stoned on Canada Gaming, and a number of others who are also connected. So thank you for joining us tonight. I don't know about this combined heater, but as you can see, we're going to give it a try. We're going to try something here, maybe increasing the heat. I already put in some fry, and the 78 degree didn't seem to do the trick. So with these 10, we're going to keep trying it. But what I don't like is the pH. It's too low. It's below 7. I need to see it more like 7.6, 7.8, and I think that's why the fry are dying. I sometimes get batches of eggs where they're all bad, none hatch, and they're all just fungused up. And I think that's a good indication that the pH is just too low. They're doing a good job of breeding. And James, by the way, I will show you this special because you helped us acquire these fish. There they are. They're doing very well. Right now I just kind of, raising them up. I mean, you only see a few, but these are the leucistic ones. These are called, I think we called them pink petricola. I can't see them so well. There they are in the back. They're very shy, and the lights are a little bright for tonight, but they're doing well. I think overall in the last year that we've had them, we may have lost one. And maybe that's it, but let me kind of back off here. Yeah, here we go. Here we are. There's a good shot of them. They're very attractive catfish because of the coloration. These ones have learned to go up to the top when they think there's food in there. I did feed them earlier already, so I'm not going to throw more food in there. But they all come out when there's food. There's probably 20 plus fish in here, although you don't see that many. So they're there right now, just kind of growing out. I haven't. We believe that they might be laying eggs at this stage, but I don't have a trap in there to kind of test and see. What I really like to do is put a kind of trap that I can put a riser in, or a type of methodology to test. I want to test the trap, and so just kind of like get a feeling as to whether or not there's any. There we go. Get a feeling as to whether or not there's any eggs being put out without having to keep reaching into the tank. We had a box that was just kind of taking samples of the water in the trap. It might work. If I ever see some Friday and say, okay, they're breeding, and then we can do some serious business here. But of course, this question of the pH of my water, if it's gone down from 7.6 down to below 7, this is going to make life a little more difficult. And I don't know if it's just a summer thing that the water company has been doing by adding more processing or whatnot. I'm not sure, but that's not going to help us. I don't think it'll help anyone with the Tanganyikans and Malawi cichlids and others who depend on the more harder water. The mascara barbs are looking good. I think that I've seen some I just have seen some coloration changes, and I'm starting to see some activity. So these two need a trap. We're going to spend some time putting into their tank. Some things that maybe we'll get some better activity. So we're going to focus on these fish now in the months to come. Also, tonight, I just want to point out that we're making progress on this 20-gallon long. This is a pleco breeding tank that is kind of new because I never had this up here before. I don't have a lot of space above the tank, but with plecos, you're not going in and out of the tank so much. I decided to use play sand. I rinsed it out really well. And there we have play sand. I'm going to put some caves. The plecos I'm going to put into is a colony of Queen Arabesque, or L260s. They're waiting for me, and we've had them a year, and they're at the age where they should be starting to breed. So we'll get them situated in this tank and then go to town. I'm going to have to just basically, it's a brand new setup, so it's kind of too clean. I'll put in some dither fish, maybe some fish I just want to grow out. Danios. I have several kinds of dither fish that work well. Danios are one. Here are my Chopre Danios. I was going to get rid of them, and I decided to hang on to them, and I bred a few more. I was lucky enough, and in the back you see, don't get a very easy close-up right here of their colors. But I'm going to show you now what the Chopre Danio looks like when they're young, okay? Now, you wouldn't believe these are the same fish, but they are. There's some young ones. And they're like, they got this red stripe going through their bodies. Kind of see them through the plants there. They're on the back side of the tank. If I move the plants to the back, they'll come to the front. They like the little open water. But this is why they have the name glow light Daniel. Chopre is the scientific name and also a trade name, but when they're smaller, they look just like glow light tetras. They lose that and become the beautiful Chopre Daniel, but because of this characteristic, they get the name glow light Daniel, not to be confused with glowfish. These are young Chopre Daniels. So, I could always just use these as dither fish. They hang around the center of the tank and the upper part. This might be a good example. I could pull these out of here, but in this tank, I also have some plecos. Of course, you wouldn't know it. They seem to be hiding very well. In here is about 4 honeycomb plecos or 519s growing out. So these are young ones. I don't see any right now. Maybe, nope, I don't see them. There was one that always hangs out here near this wood. I don't see it right now, but they're back under the filter, I think. Anyways, we'll get some shots of those at another time. I have pulled a few rams that are gold rams because I want to play around with their color. These were pulled from a group that we have of multiple gold rams, but unusually these gold rams had a super red characteristic about them. I mean, compared to the other ones in the same tank, these 5 fish, I think it's 3 females and 2 males, they were super, super red. I'd never seen gold rams with that much red in them. There's some in the back there too. Take a look. Now, moving them over, they kind of lost their red, but I'm going to start feeding them. I want to know what makes them redder than the other ones. It could be a morph. If it is, that's kind of nice, but not sure. If there is such a thing as a super red, I mean, these are sort of like what I would call tangerine gold rams. Looks like there was a pair in the background. They want to spawn, but as you can see, these pairs, there's 2 pair in here. Looks like they've kind of paired off, and then this one female here, she's lost her color and she's not with the male. But they're beautiful fish, exceptionally beautiful. And I have not really taken any of our gold rams and raised them up to become large. But because these are special picks, or in other words, super colorful, bright orange or red, these are fish that when they get to be adults and in color, I think can be sold as a pair to somebody who's really interested in them. So anyway, that's just something on the side that I'm doing. And by the way, I didn't live stream on Friday because I would be in competition with the big event, which went on for the last couple of days here in Toronto and in Los Angeles. They were battling it out at the Mound. And honestly, I thought, while a game is going on like that, there's nobody going to connect or watch. So what is the point? So thank you for joining us, a few of you. I'm not necessarily a baseball enthusiast as much as, yes, I enjoy baseball, and especially I enjoy the World Series. It's an awesome time because the teams that get there are excellent and they're in good position to give us something special, and this series was no different. I am from Los Angeles, so I was excited to see them win, but I'm also living in Toronto, so I would have been very much the same excited to see the Blue Jays win. I think I got the best of both worlds. It didn't matter who won. I was happy for him, and sad that somebody had to go home after taking a loss. But that's the way it is. The excitement of playing sports. Anyways, I didn't want to compete with that, and so that's why I decided not to live stream any usual time. And here I am on a Sunday, probably competing with a lot more big hitters. But thank you everyone for joining. I do want to show you something else that's been in the works, and that is over here. We are looking at additional. These are my additional. Since I got back from California, I'm looking. Oh, here's the pH. We were just looking at it. You see, it's below 7. So we got to do something to bring it up. I don't know exactly how to do it, or whether I can even do it with the fry. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to do our best. We're going to try to get some more catfish going. These 4 tanks are now being put into service. They're brand new. I threw in some sand, and got some water in there. We got lids. All of my lighting is starting to fade. I'm losing my lighting to one by one in quick succession. They're all dying out. They were Aquanites, cheapo fish brand, or shall we say Chinese brand that was available. I guess it still is, but I can't get these things to go. In some cases, they're not working, and I don't know why. I did replace the power supply on a couple of them because that's what it was, but then again, it still didn't fix it. Shortly after, the fixture itself went out. So there's a life expectancy on these things, and they're all dying out at the same time. Well, I'm using now, because I find that these fixtures, which are cheap 10-watt LED fixtures, they don't give an even distribution, nor do they give blue light, but you know what? They give a lot of good light for 10 watts and a nice white light that you can really see the fish well. And in this tank, this is where we have red-shouldered gold, McMasteri, and a couple of Hongsloi. Here's one right here, males and females. So these guys are coming online, and right now they're all together. Here's some of the females of the red-shouldered gold. Maybe in a second the male will show up. And of course an albino cherry barb with long fins. I got a number of those. Oh, here we go. Ignore that barred one. The barred one there, this little guy is a leftover Inca from a previous spawn. But here comes the male. These are awesome fish. Not cheap either. Very hard to find. As far as I know, we're the only ones that have them in Canada. And they are available on our website. But I'm going to get some pairs going, and we're going to do some breeding in the next few months, and we're going to get some pairs going and see if we can up our production so that we have enough for everybody. Here's this looks like a female. Females do have some spotting on their facial sides. They can be kind of completely bland, but the males, they have longer fins, long pointed fins, and they're extremely beautiful as they get bigger. What else? Well, that's all the show here. That's what we're going to focus on, is these two species. We have had some issues. I'll let you take a look at the Odessa barbs for the moment. But we had some issues with the Hongsloi, and that is when I must have bred them at maybe a higher temperature, and I got 90% males or more. It's a big percentage, hardly any females, and that doesn't seem right. So the suggestion is to lower the temperature. It's going to be very hard in this room in the wintertime to keep it cooler, because the heating of the house tends to heat up the rooms, and then these tanks, even without the heater running, I might put heaters in them, but I might not plug them in. Sometimes I have them in only in case of an issue, like 78 watt, just to make sure it doesn't get too low. But I really think that these could probably do, these apistos might even breed well in 76. That was what was suggested by Jeff Kane, who has had some experience with that. And I appreciate your suggestions. We're going to try to monitor specifically the temperature in these tanks. Unfortunately, here on the top rack, we have four tanks ready to go. So, but the pairs are not ready yet, so I'm not in a rush. However, here's one. This pair paired off and looked like they were ready, so I pulled them and we got them in a tank by themselves, set up. Now the next step is to watch the pH. We're going to just drop the pH, use our little filter over there with peat moss, and see if we can't get some soft water in there. I think they are in soft water. I'll take a measurement. But this pair seems to get along really well, and I'm happy about that. They're not, I've never seen them fight each other or chase each other in a strong way. And so just normal stuff. And you can see the male, if I can focus in on him. He's pretty neat. See, there we go. What do you think about that? It's a beautiful fish. There we go. And he's a young one. They've never bred before. So we'll give him a couple of spawns, and then he'll probably be, by that point, really looking nice and large. The males get, in the McMasteri, get much bigger than the females, and quite beautiful. So there we have it. One pair online, but got 3 more tanks plus these 4. That is a total of 7 tanks that are ready for a pair of pistogrammas, and we'll get busy with those as in the months to come. We have I can't show you again, same problem. I can't show you our honeycomb ancestors down here because the light just doesn't work. However, I do have a trick. I mean, the flashlight seems to work pretty good. Let me see if we can find one. Where's the flashlight? Where did I put it? Oh, right here. All right, so let's take a look to see if we can spot. There's one under the filter over there. Is there one in that cave? Doesn't look like it. The cave's too dirty. If there's a fish in it, usually there's. There's one right there in the corner. As you can see, the honeycomb has a distinct pattern. It's a beautiful pleco. And they don't grow big. This is, they stay around 2 inches. The adults are like that. We're looking at, in this tank, 2 females and a male. There might even be a couple of extra juvies. Look at them. Yeah, the flashlight trick has worked, because without the flashlight, you can't really see much. I'm going to see if I can zoom in. Put the light back. Oh, there we go. That's what the honeycomb looks like. Doing some fancy work here to get that fish to show. And they're like, this is their tank, and they have it to themselves. I used to have some dither fish. I think I need to add a dither fish or 2. and nothing wrong with raising up some Danios or something in here along with them. Also, I've got some good mountain minnows that I can use over here. This tank has some mountain minnows like right there, golds. I can pull some of those in there. Just having a few of these fish are that works. So there you have it. Thank you very much for being a part of FishEZ. In tonight's episode, we took a look at the new setups. We've got the one behind me. It's going to be for plecos, and then of course I have another shelf here. It's just storing junk right now, and so we'll get that cleared away. Get another 20-gallon, and then once the 20-gallon is in there, we can put another pleco breeding group, and we also have some 471s or snowball plecos. I think that's what they're called. We also have growing out some new fish. I don't know if you've seen it. If you were not with us in the last live stream, I'll just see if we can spot them. These are also very hard to find, super hard to find here in Canada. And there it is right there. Let me show it to you. It's on the front screen. It's a smaller, it's an ancistrus. Zip, zip, zip. There it went. I know one hangs out in that cave. They're not old enough to breed. They got a ways to go. And they're not cheap either. There they go to the back. Let's see if I can. I wonder if I go zipping around. These are the peppermint. Oh, went right into that cave. Yep, I was right. He likes that cave. So these are the peppermint L181s, I believe. If I got it right. And there's the tail sticking out now. Look at the tail. You see the beautiful white. It has a nice white trim to the tail. It's also on the dorsal fin. See if I can get the lighting just right. I don't know. But they're covered in like little diamond spots. Very beautiful pleco. And we're hoping to maybe get some spawns in the future, and we will probably pick up some more when they become available, if they do. But what a nice treat. They have some ancistrus there with different than the normal kinds that we normally see in the stores all the time. So thank you very much for taking an opportunity to, I don't know, be with us tonight. There's a few online, and we've had some interesting thoughts about what we're going to do about this Lucipinus pH. We need to get them into some higher water, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we're going to see what we can do to try to up the water pH without doing anything be difficult for them. I mean, if I just do straight water changes repeatedly, I will only be able to bring it up to what the tap is, and that's 7 points. Well, it used to be 7.6. Now it's it seems to be closer to 7. So it's really changed a lot. But we'll see what we can do. Any suggestions by anyone? Please leave your comments down below. If you're watching the replay of this, I would love to hear your comments about how to actually bring up the pH for these fish. I'm already using the coral, and I'm not sure if that will work, but we're going to give it a try. At least it will keep it pH from crashing. At least that will happen, because the pH drops too low, the coral will start to dissolve and then stabilize the pH. Thank you very much. Now, we have some interesting news, and that is simply, since you've been online with me almost this entire live stream, FYI, aquarium.biz is been getting a lot of our products put up there and now available. And also there'll be specials and there will be codes for getting discounts, but we're going to roll those out in either live streams or special videos. Also, check the website regularly for a special on there. And you may notice that some of the fish being available may not be the cheapest, but there's something that you should know about, and that is when you get fish from directly from us, you will always get superb, high quality, the best picks. And that's what we offer, you know. Yeah, you pay a little extra for the fish, but you won't be disappointed in what you receive. That is one of the key things that makes buying from us directly on the website worth it. So thank you very much. Check it out. It's aquarium.biz, aquarium.biz, and we'll be probably live streaming as soon as we can and putting out a few videos. One of them maybe very soon this week. I hope to do a short video on how to drop the pH. I know I put out some videos before, but I'm going to do a comparison between, this is just a infomercial between these two products. I want to know the Aqua Papa corner filter versus the Chinyu corner filter from China. Is there any difference between the two? And other than price or quality, and we'll see. We're going to open these boxes and we'll take a look and we'll see. So thank you very much for joining, and we will have hopefully you'll have a good night, and always, as always, please enjoy your fish and keep it real.